Welcome back to part 2 of the Central Oregon Community College Bobcat Orientation, your first 3 weeks. So where we left off and where we're going to start is talking about parking permits and student IDs. So anytime you're going to park on any of the campuses, the Central Oregon Community campuses, you are going to need a parking permit. Pretty simply, you can find that in Bend at the Boyle Education Center, the RTech building, that's the first building in Redmond, and then the campus front desks at Prineville and Madras. So make sure that if you're going to attend courses on campus or be on campus, that you grab that permit. Now, student IDs can give you access to the Mazama Fitness Center, to computer labs, to borrow library books, a lot of things, as well as I can let you know there are some additional student discounts that you'll find out on the web as it pertains to software. YouTube has a discount for YouTube Premium for students and their music program, etc. Just some other things that when you sign up for those, you've got to prove that you're a student, and you do that by signing up with your COCC email, as well as providing a copy of your student ID with a current term sticker. So just a few extra added benefits of getting that student ID card. So let's talk about courses. Now, when we talk about courses, it used to be back when I took courses, folks, that you had one option and one option only, and that was an in-person class that was taught on a campus. And now you have a lot of options to work your education around your other commitments, whether that be a full-time job, family, kids, whatever it may be. So real briefly, if we look at this, synchronous, by the way, just means in real time, okay? And so those will have scheduled meeting times, whether you're meeting on campus in person, you might meet remotely via Zoom online. There might be a combination of the two where one day you meet in person and the next day you meet remotely, or streaming classes that basically are simultaneous, but you'll meet online for those classes, okay? Now, what you'll want to do is you'll want to check the schedule of classes. There's a great description on what the class is it remote, what campus is it on if it's not, etc. Asynchronous is going to be those courses that are truly online. So everything is virtual. There is no scheduled meeting time, whether that be in person or online via Zoom, and you become more responsible with time management. Okay, so keep that in mind when you think about asynchronous classes. There are also options of mixed classes. So if you're not sure if online is right for you, you might take an in-person and online, where you meet one day in person, and then the rest of the time for that week is asynchronous, meaning there's only one scheduled meeting, and then you're going to be required to do things online. That's the same with remote as well. And then there's also some special options, so make sure you're reading that schedule of classes. Well, once you've signed up for a class, you're going to need a textbook. And a lot of ways to get the textbook. First and foremost, if you're on student aid, you'll most likely be getting, financial aid. You'll most likely be getting your textbooks from the COCC bookstore. You'll want to go on site. Now, let me let you know, you don't have to come to Bend to get books. Books are delivered to other campuses if they're physical books, etc. But you have other options besides the bookstore. You can purchase and rent, and you can do that from the bookstore as well. You can look for new and used copies, hard copies, or digital copies. So if you're someone that likes the physical book and works better with a physical book, there's options there. What you'll want to do is check that class schedule again. There'll be a link to the book, to the bookstore, so that you can figure out exactly what book or digital e-learning software you need for courses. A lot of books are put on reserve at the libraries so that you can use that book without purchasing it. But make sure that you contact the library, make sure the book is available, etc. And then you'll be able to check out that book for use in the library only, okay, for a certain period of time. So again, check with the bookstore on there. There's also the option, once you're done with the book, to sell the book, return the book if it's a rental, etc. A lot of options. just make sure that you check with whoever you're renting the book or purchasing the book from. Check with the instructor, make sure it's legit. Folks, as an IT, someone who teaches information technology, I can let you know there are some scams out there as it pertains to getting e-learning software for half the price. If it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Okay, so COCC Bookstore now, again, offers curbside pickup in Bend, orders a bookstore website, can be picked up, like I said, at any campus, or you can have them shipped to you. So always convenient to get your books through the bookstore. And again, you'll get used to doing that. Log into the bookstore, check it out. You'll see the link in the schedule of classes. Now, not only is there the bookstore, but there's the library. And I want to be really clear about the library. You know, a lot of people might have this idea, well, you know, what is it I might need from the library, and do I have to go in? And so notice what it says here, both in person and online. So the library has an absolutely awesome presence online that can help you with a lot of things besides just the physical books that are on the shelves. You can borrow books, you can pick up books that you requested online, you can borrow laptops, calculators, utilize hotspots, check with the library on the policies and procedures of receiving those, you know, get help finding sources for papers and homework. Folks, it's not just the web. The bookstore has a ton of great digital content that is not available, you know, outside. How do I put this? That's available only through the bookstore. So, you know, great publications, great research, you name it, you're going to find it at the library. You can also, if you're not used to how to use the library, you want a little bit more information, you can meet with a librarian. So in person or Zoom, and they can help you become more familiar with the library. So I definitely want you to all, encourage you all to utilize the library in addition to the resources given for your classes. So Tutoring and Writing Center. Well, again, remember I said it's everyone's goal here on campus, no matter who you're dealing with, to have you succeed. And that is no different when it comes to the Tutoring and the Writing Center. So they offer tutoring in person. They offer it online. So as long as you have that internet connection, you're not having to drive all the way to campus to get help. Help is available. So make sure you reach out and get the help you need to be successful. You know, free for students in credit courses, available on all 4 campuses, no appointments. So drop in, which means you can click on a link. So if you go out to Canvas, you'll see this link right here to tutoring. You click on that link, and then there's these links available. It'll get you right to the help that you need. You can also schedule on campus, you know, for help at specific times as well. Now, when we talk back about this whole idea of the first 3 weeks, when we focus on week 1, it starts with accountability, and that is holding yourself accountable for just showing up. And what I mean is showing up for your classes. Make sure that if it's an in-person class, that you're there in person. If for some reason you're not able to be there, make sure that you communicate with the instructor ahead of time so that you can find out their requirements. And by the way, you're going to find the same thing to be true with online courses, in the fact that there are going to be some requirements you need to meet that first week. So make sure you're showing up, if you will, on Canvas, online, etc. You know, identify your support team. So not just the instructors of your classes. There's the CAP Center. There's a lot of folks on campus, but your support team extends past that campus. Are there friends and family that are going and willing to keep you accountable, to say, hey, you know, did you go to class? How are you doing, etc.? You know, look ahead at what's coming. Instructors will a lot of times give you a syllabus that gives you a schedule for the whole term as to what will be covered, when it's covered. Plan all of that out. And of course, don't hesitate to ask for help. There's a lot of great folks on campus that are willing to help. There's some great classes, by the way, college success classes, that if you find you're challenged with time management, that you're challenged with stress, whatever it may be, there are some great classes where you can actually learn those skills to be successful as a student as well. So again, it's all about reaching out, be accountable, keep yourself responsible. Today we have smartphones, we have calendars on them. It only takes a few minutes to go in there and put time that you're going to invest in the classes you're taking. So even if you're taking an online course where there's not that requirement or that built-in accountability of showing up, make sure you schedule time each day, a couple times a week at least, to complete the work for that class. So COCC does require attendance, as I said, the first week. That's going to be both online and in person. And if you don't attend and you don't communicate with the instructor ahead of time, you very well may be withdrawn from the course. One of the reasons for this is if there's a wait list, that's going to give the equal opportunity for those that are doing that work, that have met those requirements from the wait list, to get on that official roster. So attendance requirements may be met, in different ways. Make sure you check with the instructor and check online. COVID information, as we know, COVID is a part of our lives today. We've made it through the challenge of the pandemic and all of the closures. It's still there. Staying up to date on COVID information. Currently, face masks are not required. What do you do if you're experiencing COVID symptoms? Well, the best thing is to stay at home. Let's not share that around, right? And if you were on campus and later find out, there is a way to notify some folks on campus so that they can sort of track where that exposure was and help others, okay? All of these policies, by the way, are very fluid. This is where we are today. Make sure that you go out to the COCC website, find the COVID information, and I can guarantee if there are changes in the current policies, COCC does a great job of communicating so that we can all stay safe. In week 2, in building academic success, you want to plan, you want to prepare for classes. I already made some suggestions on how to start that process and be successful. And that is manage your time. I can personally attest that the majority of students that drop my course or stop showing up and then earn a failing grade are those that don't manage their time. They haven't scheduled time for the class. They wait and procrastinate to the last minute. I don't want to see you all do that. Let me assure you, it doesn't work. Invite classmates to become that accountability group and also to study with. It's great to have classmates that you can rely on if you're not in class to help you with the material. It's also great to have that accountability that if you're setting up study groups, that's a reason for you to go, to have done the work ahead of time, to study with the group, whatever it may be. Week 3, ensure academic success. Well, ask for help. If you find you're struggling, and I've mentioned this multiple times already, reach out for help. There's a ton of folks on campus that are going to help. We just need you to know that we're available. All you have to do is reach out. Great resources on the COCC web, and I've mentioned a few already. So reach out to your instructors. Communicate with your instructors. Again, if you find that you're starting to be challenged with something, the first and foremost thing you should do is communicate with the instructor. Let them know what's going on, where the challenges are, and they'll see how they can help. Practice physical and mental self-care. So again, I mentioned that, if you're an accredited student, you have the opportunity for mental health counseling. So reach out to the CAP Center in regards to that. Use campus resources accordingly. And again, if you're not sure what those are, reach out to the CAP Center, reach out to an instructor. A lot of times in Canvas, there's also resources in Canvas. Look for those student resources. A lot of these are mentioned there. Before the term starts, get your student ID, get your parking permit or bus pass if you need. Purchase your books ahead of time. Get financial aid questions answered. Find your classrooms if you're in person. You don't want to wait to the first day to step into a campus that is brand new to you to try to find where you're supposed to be. May I also mention, strategize on parking. Have a couple different parking spaces. What might be the closest parking lot? But if you're coming mid-morning, that may be full. What's the next parking lot you can park to and still navigate to your courses? Find those classrooms, as we said. Have your class schedule accessible, checking things like dates, times, etc. When I was a student, I went out to my smartphone and I put all that information. I created, if the class met every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., it was on my schedule with a half an hour reminder. Actually, I did a 1 hour before and then a half an hour before reminder on where I was supposed to be. I briefly mentioned the fact that you can get Office 365. So it is free. Office 365 is the online version of Office. So that's going to give you access to your email online, Microsoft Word and PowerPoint and Excel online, Outlook as the email application, should you choose to use that. There's also the ability in there, once you sign in, to download copies of the Office suite to your computer so that you can use them offline. And as an IT instructor, let me let you know that the Office 365 suite that you access through a browser, that's how you know if you're in Office 365, is very different than the downloaded version. So make sure you get with your instructor and find out which copy you need. Now, student technology accounts. I think this is a great place to stop. We'll come back and talk about student technology accounts in the next session. Take care.